Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's episode. You join me in some glorious sunshine here in Norfolk, and I thought I'd better make the most of the opportunity and get up to the allotment. So today's jobs for this week's episode are to finally start getting my broad beans planted. I've got about 25 to get in today. Poor things have been in my greenhouse for far too long, and they need to get out. So that is my main job for today, as well as showing you some of the beautiful bulbs that have come up on the allotment that I planted back in October. It seems Mr. Mole didn't get them all, and I did get lucky with some. So I really want to show you some of the more special varieties that have popped up so far. So stay tuned and let's get cracking with today's episode. Well, the sun is absolutely glorious here today. The wind isn't too bad either, so hopefully that will mean I won't have to do a voiceover for my video. I can actually just have a conversation with you. The time is 5:15 in the afternoon, so it's lovely. It's warm, but it's not too warm, and it really is starting to feel like spring for the first time, and it really is wonderful. However, my broad beans, bless them, have more than outgrown their pots, and they need to be put out desperately. So with the help of my glamorous assistant, that area has been dug over, and I'm going to be popping those in today. While I'm here as well, like I said earlier, I want to show you some of the bulbs that have popped up on the allotment. Some of the daffodils and the tulips are absolutely amazing. They're all new varieties, like I said to you before, that I've never tried before, and they have come up, and boy are they spectacular. So I thought, why not seize the opportunity while the weather is so good to share them with you. I also want to have a little discussion with you about asparagus crowns, because they're the plan for my episode next week. I need to get those in. I said last time, I think, or that might have been on Instagram, that I feel really behind with my asparagus, but because they're permanent in the allotment, I feel as though I need to be really sure on where I plant them before I put them in. So that's a conversation I can have with you too during this episode. But first things first, let me go and show you some of these beautiful, beautiful bulbs. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to show you some of my tulips. You have to watch the weeds and the dandelions between the lupins there. But this is one of the first varieties. They're a really nice pastel pink colour and really, really beautiful. Moving on, we have this beautiful white one with these ruffled edges. They look absolutely amazing. Really, really special tulip there. Never seen one like that before. And then further on from that, I have this pink and white striped tulip. Again, really pretty, really delicate flowers. Really unusual, but they're like quite puffy as well. This one's really full. I know a lot of tulips can be just sort of open and you can see straight down the middle, but this one, yeah, absolute stunner. Here's another of the really delicate white with the ruffled edges. Again, you can see there. Oh, free insect inside. But yeah, absolutely beautiful. And then we have your more regular style tulip, so a plain yellow here. Again, the colour and the vibrancy brings so much to the allotment. So even though it's not your most fancy, still really lovely to look at. And then moving on to what I like to call my big tulips. These are huge, they're like the size of my hand, but they're your sort of more traditional big red tulips, and there's quite a few of them here, all lurking on the allotment. and a couple more of those lovely pink ones down the back there as well. I'm not quite sure how those two got there, but they're there now, so that's where they'll be staying. Moving on to daffodils. Have these beautiful varieties this year. I'll have to dig out all the names for you so you can really appreciate them. I mean, this one just reminds me of a Cadbury's cream egg. But yeah, absolutely beautiful. And then you've got your more traditional sort of daffodil with the trumpet, and that's just plain yellow. These are my new daffodils. So these are the, well, this one has actually got 4 on one stem, and they're just, yeah, gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And each one is the same. This one's got 3 on. Last but not least, these are like my mini tulips. They're so small, as you can see by the size of my thumb. These ones are just in a pot. They've been in a pot for a couple of years now, and these are like a peachy red. But yeah, absolutely gorgeous too. And so as you can see, having those bulbs around really brightens the allotment up. There's just, everywhere I look, there's flowers and pretty colours, and everything just feels so happy. And it makes it even better when the sun's out like it is today, with very little wind for a change, though I probably just talked that up. Now what I'm going to go on to now is planting out my broad beans. Now I have got the green masterpiece variety, so they're quite a large variety, so as they get taller they are going to need supporting with canes. So what I'm going to do is do a double row of broad beans. So the rows are going to be around 10 inches apart, and each of the plants will also be around 9 to 10 inches apart as well. So what I'm going to do now is go and get them all in, get them all watered in, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. So let's get going. So the pea and bean bed is quite a big area. However, I'm going to be using, just from what you can see here, this area that's dug over, this huge strip here, which is probably just over 1 metre wide and around 4 metres long, and this is where I'm going to be planting my broad beans. So what I'm going to do, as always, because you know what I'm like, is mark out with canes my straight lines. Then I'm going to be placing the broad bean plants in where I think they should go before digging them in, so they're evenly spaced apart. And as always, I'll then be giving them a good drink, labelling them up, and crossing my fingers that they'll all be okay. But first of all, let me get these straight lines all marked in. So now the plants have all been evenly spaced apart. I know some of them have fallen over, but they're quite tall. I'm going to start putting them in the ground now. So they need to go about 2 to 3 inches deep. The taller ones I'll probably put in a little bit deeper just to give them some extra stability. And then what I'm going to do is tie twine between the canes, and then they can use that as extra support. well, that's it in terms of the broad beans. Obviously I said to you I wanted to talk about the asparagus crowns. I've got 6 to put in, and I need to find a permanent space for them obviously before I decide where to put them. As they're crowns, I believe they'll be going into their 2nd year, so they'll still need at least another year or 2 before I can pick anything from them. So having a permanent place for them on the allotment is really important, and to remember not to dig them up. So I'm thinking probably somewhere near the strawberry bed, because I don't do a lot with the strawberry bed year on year, so hopefully if I put them there and label them well, I'll remember not to dig them up. So next week I'll be putting those in. Very excited because I know I'm late, I know I'm behind. I keep going online and seeing people's asparagus is already up and mine's still in the shed, but better late than never. There's always time for these things. So yeah, very much looking forward to doing that next week. There's so many jobs I need to do, so I'm not going to commit to any particular jobs for next week's episode apart from getting that asparagus in. So what I'm going to do is I'll give you a little pan around the allotment so you can see all the gorgeous flower beds in their full colour in each of their areas, and so you can really appreciate it as much as I can. I hope the weather has been as gorgeous where you are this week as it is here, and it's really been amazing, much needed I think. But now I'm going to go home, have a nice cold drink. So I hope all of you stay well, stay safe, look after each other, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye.